Before I begin today's video, I want to thank today's video sponsor, Doisser. Doisser brings you guys premium scents without the premium costs. This month's cologne of the month is Fruity Honey, inspired by Joe Malone's Nectarine Blossom and Honey, which will run you guys $142, but Doisser will bring it to you guys for only $29. Doisser has many other fragrances on their site for a discounted rate, which are inspired by other popular colognes that I'm sure that you guys would love. If you guys are interested in that, the link will be down in the description below. Now let's start the video.
What's up, you guys? It's your boy PrettyBoyFloyd, and I'm going to be taking you guys on a tour of my YouTube studio. So this studio, I low-key built on my own. I didn't build the room on my own. No, I mean, don't act stupid. But I did put the flooring myself. I painted it myself. And I have little things in here that I built myself. So I want to take you guys on a tour and show you guys how I did that. So I've been working on my YouTube studio for about 6 months now. Yeah, so this is just an update. It's not finished yet, and I still have some improvements, and there's still some things that I want to install and do. But for right now, I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna show my YouTube studio as it is right now, you know, and I'll look back at it and be like, yo, that's what my YouTube studio used to be like, you know, like when I'm big time, you know what I'm saying? I could look back at this video and be like, dang, that's where I came from type thing. I mean, this isn't where like I came from. Trust me, this room looked like shit before, and this is like, this was the room that I used to work at or work in. So this room, as you see right now, looks completely different than it did before I started working on it. And I did used to record YouTube videos in here, but I installed some things and I made slight improvements to make this room a whole lot better and make it feel more creative. So I'll show you guys some before and afters, because before this was a spare bedroom. It was an extra room in my house that nobody was using, so I just took it upon myself to make this, you know, my YouTube studio, making it the stew. So first thing, when you walk into the studio, what you're going to notice is the hardwood floors. Now I have a whole video on how I installed these hardwood floors, because we are renting out this house, so this is renter/apartment friendly hardwood floors. So underneath the hardwood floors are carpet. We didn't tear up I didn't tear up the carpet or anything like that. So basically it's just plywood on top of the carpet and then hardwood floor planks on top. Now it sounds really easy, but I have a 40-minute video on how I installed my hardwood floors, because it took me 4 days and I went through a lot of trial and error, freaking trials and tribulations, all types of shit. And you guys can check that video out in a corner if you guys are interested in installing this into your own studio. So if you're renting out your space or you live in an apartment, this is a great way and a great alternative to install hardwood floors. The hardwood floors come in handy because I use paper backdrops, and I will, you know, bring them all the way down, and sometimes I'll put like chairs on top of the paper and stuff like that, and that doesn't work so well with carpet. You know, carpet just sucks whenever you're, you know, trying to do creative things in your studio. So install those hardwood floors was the biggest and best investment that I have made. So yeah, I installed that myself. Next thing that you're gonna notice is the walls. I painted these walls black. People might not like the idea that I painted them black, you know, but
I have made a complete mess up in this joint. There's plastic wrap over there. Y'all see my extendo? My freaking paint stick, man. Got the paintbrush on one end, got the roller on another end. Bro, I'm being professional.
Honestly, I feel like it gives it, you know, a nice artistic feel. I don't really like a lot of light, you know, that's just me. These walls were like cream colored, like a light beige, and I didn't really like that. It just felt too bright, and I don't know, it just messes with my eyes. So for me, having a dark room just feels a lot calmer, and especially like when I'm working at the computer, brightness all the way up, it just helps my eyes, really. Yeah, I painted these walls all black myself. Now again, we are renting out this house, so I left like the trimmings to the door, and the door black, and the windowsill black. I mean white. I left them white. So it doesn't look how I want it to really look, but I want to make it easier on my future self to paint over this when we move out. So yeah, that only took me like 2 days to paint. Yeah. So when you walk into this room, you turn to the left, you're gonna see these paper backdrops right here. Those are those colored ropes right there. And this backdrop I will link down in the description below, because this is, again, another great investment if you are starting a YouTube studio. This holds up my paper backdrops. So I have 4 colors. I have blue, beige, and red and white. And that backdrop, of course, holds 4, and you just screw it into the ceiling. Now you can screw it into the ceiling, or you can screw it into the wall. I wanted to be fancy and screw it into the ceiling because I felt like, you know what? I really don't know why I didn't screw it into the wall. Now I'm looking at it, it would probably be a lot easier if I was just like to put it like on the wall. But I want to be difficult, and I think that hanging it on the ceiling just looks a lot better. I don't know. So yeah, again, went through a lot of trial and error with that too. And a little tip for y'all, it comes with like these cement screws, and it makes it more complicated than what it is. So I spent a lot of unnecessary time trying to install that thing, and really all you need to do is just find a stud and just screw it in. You know, that's the best way to do it. I've learned that drywall screws don't work. Just find a stud and just screw it in. And your paper backdrops are not that heavy. It's not gonna come down or anything like that. Just make sure you have a stud finder and find a stud. So what you're gonna see with those paper backdrops is that I have PVC piping in the middle of it. I replaced their cardboard piping with some PVC piping. Just got it at Home Depot, and I cut it about 4 inches longer than the actual paper roll. And the reason why you want PVC piping is because it's very sturdy, and the cardboard piping that it comes with, over time, the paper backdrops will start to dip in the middle because they're very long and they're kind of heavy. Like I said, they're not that heavy, but over time they will sink down in the middle. So I replaced it with PVC piping, and I believe it's a 2-inch diameter. Yeah, I think the PVC pipings are 2 inches in diameter. So I just rolled it out and then replaced the rolling with PVC piping in the middle, and I hung it up there. There's a lot of YouTube tutorials on that if I'm not explaining it well enough for you guys, because I know I'm going kind of fast. On to the next thing that you guys have probably seen in the background all the time is like this little light right there. This is my grow light. This room does not get light at all, and it having black walls probably doesn't make the plants that happy, but this grow light definitely makes them pretty happy. I like to say my plants they're starting to thrive. I think when they first come in here, they're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing to me? And then they kind of start, you know, like that fiddle leaf. I remember when I brought him in here, like a whole bunch of his leaves were like falling off, and that fiddle leaf was like really expensive. Like it's a whole tree, you guys see that. Fiddle leaves are like really expensive, but they can scare you. A lot of times when you like move a fiddle leaf to a new environment, its leaves fall off, and then like it looks like you just killed it. And then all of a sudden it starts sprouting back up. So I don't know. That's weird. That's weird to fiddle leaves, but they do that sometimes. So I could tell, you know, he's adjusted to environment, and he likes to grow light. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking about installing more grow lights, because again, this room is still pretty dark, and I'm still thinking about getting more plants. I really want this to look like a fucking like an urban jungle, like just all types of plants in here. Like I can barely like move. Maybe not talking like barely move throughout my studio, but yeah. So next to that, we got 2 studio lights right here. This is just extra light. Pretty much I just use this window light right here, and this window light is good, you know, like to have some indirect sunlight, but again, the sun, like the actual sun, isn't positioned this way. This is just indirect sunlight. The sun's all the way over there, and this room's pretty dark. And then over there, y'all can see in the background is my boy Mac Miller. You know, it's my favorite artist right there, legend, big inspiration for me. He's the reason why I do this shit, for real. So yeah, you always gotta have Mac Miller in the back, you know. I know he watching over me, you know what I mean? So over here we got my vision board. On this vision board, I've had for about 2 years, and I always either take some stuff down and put some stuff back up, either because I've accomplished it or because it's just not within my vision anymore. So yeah, you know, I take some things from magazines, you know, some stuff that I want to do, some body goals, some goals for me personally. So you guys know I like model on the side, so I do take pictures from magazines and stuff like that for inspiration for my photo shoots. And yeah, and as you guys can see in the bottom right hand corner is the inspiration for this studio. I mapped out this studio like literally that diagram was from like 2 years ago. Like I just didn't have the funds or the money to like improve this studio, but now since I do, I invested a lot into this studio, and you know, thank God for the financial gain that I've had come my way, because I'm just investing it back into my brand and back into what I want to do. So yeah, so you guys can see like the way I like mapped it out, you know, how I wanted it to look. And then I also got some pictures from Pinterest, you know, for like inspiration and stuff. And some of y'all can see some of that inspiration in this room today. So yeah, below that we got some more plants, a bookshelf. I actually want like a real I want a bookshelf in here because I do read a lot of books and I want to put like my books on display. So over there we got like an old antique lamp on top of this computer desk that I built. I did build this computer desk from scratch again. That took me like 3 weeks. That was the longest build I ever did. You know, that computer desk is funny because when I would show people, you know, friends, family, whomsoever, like what I'm trying to do, they're like, why don't you like try to do something more simple? You know, like I think you should start with something more simple. That looks a little bit too complicated, you know, because when you look at it, like it's just all types of like angles and this and that, and hey, I had to learn, you know what I'm saying? And when somebody tells me I can't do something, it makes me want to do it, because I feel like they're like insulting my intelligence. I feel like they're like, you know, saying I can't do something, and that's the competitiveness in me, and that's the athlete in me. Like when you tell me I can't do something, and when I got a lot of doubt, a lot of haters, you know, looking at me, it's just motivation, you know what I'm saying? So I use that as fuel, and I did that shit, you know what I'm saying? I did that shit. So I was very proud of that. It's got a little keyboard tray right there because I do play some piano. I teach myself a little bit, and I might, you know, put some stuff here on YouTube if I'm like confident enough to put, you know, some of my like cover pieces on there. But yeah, man. So the reason why that keyboard tray is right there, because this is an output desk that's actually like designed for like music producers. So this design I didn't come up with myself, no, but it is inspired by the output desk. So the video on how I made my computer desk will be again in the corner. You guys can look at that, and also in the description below. So yeah, so on my computer desk you can see that I have my microphone that has a boom stand connected to the desk. So like whenever like I'm like recording, you know what I'm saying, I just come over here, have it in front of the computer, and just do my voiceovers, you know, just do it like that. Also, this is why you need hardwood floors too, so that like you can like roll in your studio, you know, into different places and shit. So yeah. Also on my desk, I got a drawing tablet. You guys know that I do some illustrations when I'm like making videos. So I have a drawing tablet, very inexpensive, got it off Amazon. So usually like when I'm doing like skincare things or like hair tutorials or any other tutorials that I like want to get a little bit creative with and like draw the products, I tend to do that a lot. I used to watch this YouTuber named Kiki. She was like a fashion YouTuber, and she used to do these illustrations which I thought were like really cool. So I got a lot of inspiration from her when it comes to that. And then over there I got the Mac, you know, the iMac. You know, that was a really big investment because I used to just make YouTube videos on my MacBook, and it did not have that much storage. When you're running applications like Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, and After Effects and all this other shit. It eats up at the hard drive a lot, and I needed something that was faster and bigger. So the iMac was a really good investment. I got it off of Mac of All Trades, which is like this used Mac store where you can buy like used iMacs and MacBooks. So they have a lot of like used Macs, and it just has like this little scratch like on the side of it, which like dropped it down from like 1500 to like 800. So I was just like, man, I don't give a fuck about that little scratch right there. You know what I mean? As long as it's still working, and I guess as long as like the scratch isn't like all the way across and it's like really distracting, I'm cool with it, Yeah. In the corner right there is a TV. Now I don't use that TV to watch TV. What I actually use it for is a camera monitor. Yeah, like I was looking at like a lot of like camera monitors like to attach to my camera, and they're not too expensive, but it's like still like it's a luxury, you know what I'm saying? Because this does have an LCD screen that flips up for you to look at, but it's very small, and I want something bigger, so this would definitely benefit some of you guys who have a camera and it doesn't have an LCD screen. You can buy an HDMI port that goes to your camera into the TV, and it can act like a camera monitor. And this is again beneficial for those who do have a flip up screen, because like the picture is so much bigger. And I feel like this helps out a lot too, like when I go in to edit my videos, because a lot of times I could look a lot different than I do on that LCD screen. I'm just like, I thought I looked perfectly fine, but like when I put it in the computer, I'm like, I look completely different, so this helps kind of eliminate that, because I can see more details. There's a lot of things that like I probably don't see in this LCD screen, like these bottles of water, like just I didn't even realize that there was trash in the bag, you know what I'm saying? And that's my fault, you know what I'm saying? That's my fault. As you can see, it's not connected to the HDMI port right now because I just didn't feel like it. I'm just being lazy. But yeah, that can, connect to the camera monitor, and yeah. Over here, we got my sewing station. For those of you guys that don't know, I do have some sewing materials. Fuck, what the hell was that? For those of you guys who don't know, I do have some sewing tutorials on my channel, and I do like to sew. I can make things from scratch. More times than not, I'm going to the thrift store and I'm actually like altering and tailoring thrifted clothes. Like this whole fit that I got on is from the thrift store. And if it's too big, I'll just, tailor it up and, just like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, I got some sewing tutorials on there, but not that much, but I do like to sew. So yeah, that's a little sewing station right there. It definitely needs some work, Again, all this is a work in progress, but I know that what I'm doing right now is gonna inspire somebody out there to do the same thing. And I know that like I'll really help somebody out doing this, because I think there's a lot of things in my studio that will help out like a beginner YouTuber and will help somebody out. So as long as it helps somebody out, you know what I'm saying, I'm cool with that. That's what I do this for. So yeah. Oh, another thing that I forgot. You see me looking up here. This right here, man. I don't even like. Sometimes like I just be getting into projects and like I be thinking of like different shots to do, and I've always liked an overhead shot of like like an overhead shot and like somebody like using their hands and stuff like while they're like moving something or showing something off.
So this is the setup for my new video. As you can see, I'm going to be using the overhead jump, and I connected it to a TV monitor, which I'll soon mount to the wall. But right now I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to show you guys what the outcome is with that mount. I mean, you guys can already see it. It's already coming out pretty good. But yeah, man, I can show you guys. All I did was use the stud finder, found the middle of the studs, and it's just simple, just 4 bolts in the ceiling. That's it, man. And again, tripod, $20 from Walmart. DSLR camera, steady, and yeah.
So I'm like, how can I achieve that shot? And like a whole bunch of like tutorials were saying like to get like an expensive C-stand and like doing all this extra shit and like building your own C-stand and doing that and like having a camera, blah, blah, blah. All that shit. I would just like, why don't I just screw my tripod into the ceiling? So that's what I did. I took like this spare piece of wood, just scrap piece of wood, I don't even know where it came from. Screwed it into the wall, and then I just super glued the tripod on top, I super glued the tripod on the piece of wood. Because like I said, we're renting it out, so I would just like, let me think of my future self here. You know, the most damage I want to do is, you know, screw something into the wall, because I could just putty it and just like sand it down and paint over it. So I was just like, yeah, let me do that. So I did that shit, and I got a video on where I achieved that shot at. I don't know if yeah, man. So that's everything right now. My YouTube studio is still a work in progress, but you know, I'm still investing into it. You know what I'm saying? I still want to make some improvements on it, and I hope it helped some of you guys out. And you know, give this video a like. You know what I'm saying? To help out the YouTube algorithm, because you know what I'm saying? Help your boy out, you know, help me help you out, you know what I'm saying? So subscribe to the channel, you know what I'm saying, if you haven't, and I'll catch y'all next week, you know what I'm saying?